Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. And boy, has it been a while since we've said that.
It's been exactly, let's see, January, February. Where are we in almost mid-March? So
Yeah,
2.5 months, Eric.
yeah. Now, you might notice that we did not do a year-end wrap-up show because I almost died. I have the exact date I went into the hospital
Have you been
on
keeping a
my.
diary?
No. NYU has this thing called My Chart.
Right, yeah.
Oh, so I guess it's every hospital does this now. So,
Yes,
well,
yes,
just let me start with the beginning.
yes.
December 27th, I wasn't feeling very well. Now, my doctor will tell you the appointment is at 3 o'clock, but that just means get there at 3 o'clock and you'll
Yeah.
leave at 6, maybe. So there's an urgent care like 2 or 3 blocks from us. So
hmm
we went there and I told them my symptoms. They did a COVID test and they're like, "Oh, you have a cold.
Now,
Here's some
now,
medicine."
now, really quickly, this is what kicked off
Yeah.
you being in the hospital for 2.5 months.
No, a month, a month. Then I
Well,
came
but
home
yeah, but you've been in this whole ordeal. It's been 2 months.
the whole year pretty much. I've been going through stuff.
Right, 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 right. Okay.
So they give me all this medicine and about a week goes by and I'm not getting better. And the weird thing is my mom's not getting sick. So Saturday night, we were watching Only Murders in the Building.
Great, by the way.
Great show, by the way.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
finish the second
yeah.
season to get ready for the third.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I know I am. That now I've talked about on the show before. My leg is pretty deformed
Yeah.
because of the neurofibromatosis and the lymphedema. So
hmm
that night, something that's never happened to me before started happening. The bottom of my leg felt like it was on fire. And I told my mom, put some ice packs on me to cool this down.
Yeah,
She wanted me to go to the emergency room right then and there, but I don't like going to hospitals.
yeah.
Sunday, we're about to watch some football. And my mom calls my sister, and my sister just starts yelling at me to go to the hospital. We get to the hospital. They start examining me. They don't know what's wrong yet, but they know I'm going to be admitted. So they do a lot of tests on me and they find out there is an infection in my leg.
Mm,
So they give me a private room in the emergency room
hmm
and they're saying, they got to drain my leg. They gotta they do like an ultrasound, put these things in my leg and draw out fluid.
hmm
While I'm waiting for them to see me, my leg burst open, the bottom of my
Oh,
leg.
really? It just started
Yeah,
seeping out.
yeah. And then, my mom, she didn't understand what was going on. So
Yeah,
she just goes to the nurses and says he's bleeding out, not knowing that's like an emergency type situation in an
right.
emergency room. So they come in, see what's going on, they patch it up. Now, the whole thing is they were going to drain my leg anyway. So, like, wow, this is even better because now it's going to be even more coming out.
Yeah.
So they do the draining on my leg with the thing. I stay in a few more days. I go home. We had to go to the wound care doctor at Hackensack Hospital here in
hmm
Jersey.
hmm
He looks at my leg. Now, they should have done a surgery. I should mention this, but because of the way my leg is, if they were to cut into it, something could go wrong
Right,
because of the neurofibromatosis and lymphedema. And they weren't good enough to do that pretty
right,
much.
right,
It's not an easy, if it happened to you, it's an easy surgery
right,
because your leg isn't deformed. You don't have
right, right.
neurofibromatosis. I have some non cancerous tumors in my leg. So it's hard to cut those.
Right. And obviously what you're talking about, you're going through at this point. I mean, it's a very specialized thing that's happening to you.
Exactly. Very
And
specialized.
and yes, you go to the ER and they kind of, and this is what I gather, because the times that we did text back and forth, I was like asking you, why have they, at this point I was like, this is good, you're getting things
Yeah.
taken care of.
We thought
and
so too.
and then you go back into the hospital.
Well, I go to the wound care doctor, and I need to mention at this point is when the chronic hiccups started happening,
Right.
where I would not stop hiccuping.
Now
And
let
it
me
was,
ask you this. Now I have to continue to interrupt you, because these
oh, sure.
hiccups are, was it because of nerve? Do they know or
They
understand where
didn't know
these,
why. They didn't know
even
why.
now they still don't know why?
No. And I have a funny story about that coming up a little later. So the hiccups started hurting my upper body because, you're constantly
Right.
hiccup,
Yeah,
hiccup.
yeah.
So while we're at Hackensack University talking to their wound care specialists, now keep in mind this is an older guy who works at this hospital. His paycheck says Hackensack Hospital.
Hmm.
He looks at my leg, looks up New York University, and he goes, "Yeah, you need to take your son into the city."
That is a very, 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 very good and trustworthy doctor. He knew the
Exactly.
limits. He knew the limits of what he could do and what
And
that
what the
hospital could
hospital
do.
could do.
That is a
In
very
fact,
good doctor.
yeah, now that my leg, I'll get to that later. This is between all the tubes are out. We need a
Right,
wound care doctor. We're
right.
going back to him. So we come home. We're gonna have now, if we went normal to the New York University, my health insurance won't take it. But if you go through the ER, they
Right,
have to accept
right,
your
right,
insurance.
right.
So we eat really quick because we know it's gonna be a long night. We get to the NYU at around 10 a.m., I want to say,
Okay.
maybe 9:30,
Hmm.
maybe 8, I'm not sure. Now you got to understand, being in the NYU emergency room late at night, only the classiest of people are there.
Yeah,
By that, I'm joking. There were a lot of homeless people
yeah,
just trying to get warm and
yeah.
junkies.
Right, right,
Now,
right.
one thing, I don't know what it's like in Texas, but in New York and Jersey, they'll just leave the ER people in the hallway on
Yeah.
beds.
Well, I mean, that brings up, I remember being in the ER, with my wife and over at UCLA. And I mean, they had beds in the hallway. They had people waiting in the hallway,
Yeah,
because when you're so specialized, people have no choice but to go to you, which is good in a
exactly.
way. So, yeah.
But it's just bad just being out there in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
NYU is amazing. There's a reason why people from all over the world go there to get
Right.
better.
Right.
So they look at me and they, say, "Hey, we need to do drainage. We need to do all of this to
Yeah.
you." I stayed in the ER. They again put me in a private area, maybe 2 days
Right.
before they got me a room.
Waiting for a
Now
room to open. Yeah.
in Hackensack, because for some reason it came up that I had MRSA. So I had a private room in
Now,
Hackensack,
what is MRSA?
a staph infection.
Oh, okay. All right. And for everybody that don't know or understand, is that like a blood illness, or
Skin
do you
and
know?
blood illness,
Is
yes.
it? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there I had a private room. But
Mm-hmm.
when people came in, they had to wear like a gown over them.
Right.
At NYU, I was in a room with me, it was 5 people in one room, but
Right.
it was a pretty big room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while I was there, still with the chronic hiccups
Yeah.
and a lot of pain because of them, my leg was only causing me a little bit of pain.
Right.
but we had the, all the doctors coming in. I was there a week,
At
maybe 8
NYU?
days.
Really?
Yeah,
Now at this
the
point,
first time.
well, okay, wait. So that's the first time you went in, you spent 8 days. And how long have the hiccups been going on? For eight
I
days?
would
10
I
days?
would get maybe an hour or two break
That
every
doesn't
day.
count. Yeah, no, that doesn't
Yeah.
count. Yeah, no. So like it's
Um
been like 10 days, right? That
yeah,
you've
and
had
it got
hiccups?
to the point where I was in leg pain and they would give me Dilaudid,
Right.
which if you don't know is more powerful than morphine.
Yeah.
That was for my leg, but also for my upper body because of what the hiccups were doing to
Yeah.
me. And, I couldn't sleep.
Right.
And I can see how people get addicted to stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I'll tell you now, there were a few times, Larry, I'm embarrassed to say this to you. I took it even when I wasn't in pain because it felt so good.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to admit that. It's like, because it goes in your body, hits your brain, then
Right
goes
away. Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some times it took a while, but when I was in my worst, it would just happen immediately. And man, I understand the Pink Floyd song Perfectly Numb now.
Right.
In
Right.
fact, it got to the point I had my my Beats earbuds and I was waiting for it to happen so I could play
And you
that
play it.
song. Now, here's some funny stuff. I think NYU has this deal with the modeling agencies in New York that when the girls aren't modeling, they get them nursing degrees. So there now I couldn't get out of bed, so I had
Hmm.
to use, urinals and
The
bedpans.
bedpan. Yeah. Yeah.
And there were times when some of the more attractive nurses
Yeah.
would have to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that was embarrassing as anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine.
So now,
Mm.
luckily, the roommates I had were really nice people. They were super cool.
Yeah.
So they put this tube in my leg to get out all the infection.
Okay. Now, hang on. So, so out of all the doctors and the ERs that you and wound care that you've been to up until NYU, they thought that they took care of it. They thought
Yeah,
that with the medicine that they gave you, it would be fine because you were stable enough to go home.
yeah, but
And it,
they were afraid to do anything. NYU
right,
had specialists.
right,
So they
right.
put this tube in my leg with this little dangling ball kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing to
Mm-hmm.
drain out the fluid. I've
Mm-hmm.
had that before when I've had surgeries, so it's not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't give me any way though the first time to keep it on my leg. So I'm home maybe 2 days, still with the chronic hiccups.
Yeah.
I go to use the restroom, and my mom had taken a shower and turned the room into a sauna without
Yeah.
realizing it
Yeah. Yeah.
because she had the heat on and hot water. I get in there and I'm sweating like crazy. And since I hadn't been able to use the restroom normally, that's when we were talking to Corrine, and I said I went. And I don't mean
Right.
sitting on the toilet for 20 minutes. I mean I went for 20 minutes
Yeah. Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
So I get out, the tube falls to the floor,
Mm.
gets stuck in the door while I close it, and comes out on my leg.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So we're stupid people. We don't understand medical stuff. We go to Hackensack to try to get help.
They won't do
For
it.
them, they wouldn't do it, and that's when they told me I had gone septic.
Oh man.
So they did nothing for me except one of the doctors told me my leg is a ticking time bomb and it's gonna explode one day. So that put me in a great mood.
I tell you, you know, I think doctors, I don't know what drives them to to be like that. And I understand about being completely honest with people and patients and where their health care is and some of the difficulties and stuff that go on. But at a moment of your weakness, you and your mom's weakness, to hear that, what was
Yeah,
that
it's
like? What was that like?
terrifying,
Yeah.
angry,
Right.
terrifying. I thought I was gonna lose my leg.
Right. And according to the people in good old Hackensack Hospital, they would have done it because they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, like
It,
one
did
of
they
the
did they tell you you had to go back to NYU, or did they say,
no,
"Hey, we need to keep
no,
you"?
we told them we're leaving.
Good, 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 good. Because
So
you have
we
to be your
leave.
own, Eric, I'm telling you right now. This has got me, this is the whole thing, is being your own advocate. And
Yeah,
and when
yeah.
you hear something like that from a doctor who at the spur of the moment, he has to have enough composure. But it's good that at that moment you guys decided, no, we're leaving, we're going to
Now,
NYU.
my mom called NYU. We had
Yeah.
one of the nurses' numbers, and they were pretty much waiting for me
Mm.
to come in. So
Good.
we get there again. I stayed only 2 days there. They thought I was gonna have to stay overnight, but they put the tube back in me. I spent 2 days in the ER, but this was a specialized ER where not that many people were in the hallways. So they put the thing back in me, but this time they gave me like an elastic band to put on my leg that the tube would hold on to. So we do that. We were home for maybe 3 days. And one night, I still with the chronic hiccups, by the way, but they had advanced to the point where they would get so bad. It felt like I had metal bars, chains around my chest, and it would
Mm.
squeeze. And I would go, and when that would happen, even that was happening in the hospital, I should have mentioned that, it would stop the hiccups for at least an hour.
Mm.
So I was happy when that happened. So I'm home one night and I just started vomiting like crazy and it was coming up black
Because it's
because I
blood.
was still
Old blood.
septic
Right,
at the
right.
time.
Yeah.
We go back to the hospital. Now, this time they admitted me back to the 17th floor, which is where I was before. But this time I was on the right side of the 17th floor. Last time I was on the left side. So a lot of my nurses were coming back in. And they're like, "You're back?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I missed you guys." So I stood there another week with the chronic hiccups still going on. So
Hmm.
pretty much from January 11th till February, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital sick and I only found out later when I was out that I almost died or lost my leg. My mom and doctors didn't want to
Yeah.
worry me,
Right.
unlike Hackensack University.
Oh
Now,
man,
here's the other thing that's really bad. The second night we were in there, I took my dentures out and gave them to my mom because I was panicking. And my mom lost my dentures, which is now, I don't want to leave. My leg is fine now. The tubes are out of my leg.
yeah.
I should have mentioned this. I had to take intravenous at home.
Because
So there was
you had an IV, right?
a midline in my arm.
Right.
I
Yeah.
had to do that twice a day. So now here's some of the stuff I want to talk about with, so thankfully, I came home with a tube in my leg, a midline in my arm. I had to do, the IV twice, two different IVs every night. Now, the medicine they brought me home with was some oral antibiotics. And to help me with the hiccups, I later found out that the medicine they gave me was an antipsychotic.
Wow.
So I would take my pills in the daytime, and I was doing the IV in the daytime also, and I would just fall asleep.
Right,
I
right.
thought the IV was doing it to me. So I was like, you know what, Mom? I'm gonna take the IV at nighttime. I was still passing out, and that's when we found out it was an antipsychotic to
The
help get rid
IV
of the
medicine?
hiccups. No, the pill they were
Oh,
giving
okay,
me.
okay, okay. Wow.
So this one of my biggest prayers while I was in the hospital was, Lord, don't let me be in the hospital for the Super Bowl. I was in the hospital for the AFC and NFC championships, so I watched the games on a tablet next to my bed.
Oh, wow.
So night 2 nights before the Super Bowl, still with the chronic hiccups, I get that chains wrapped around my chest feeling, but it happens 5 times in a row one night. So I woke up that morning and the hiccups were gone,
Hmm.
which was such an I had to go through that ugly stuff to get to, not having the hiccups anymore. And I was able to eat. I was able to do, sleep, do
Yeah.
normal stuff.
And even when you I this is weird, even when you slept, did you have the hiccups?
I don't think so. I didn't sleep well, I know that.
Wow, it's like your body was so wound up and it like was like almost like a stress reliever, all the
Yeah,
stuff. But when you slept, you rested enough to where your body,
I
wow,
think my
Eric,
body was shutting down from the pain of the hiccups, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah, man, wow,
And it's not easy to get pain pills anymore because of, the
right,
opioid stuff.
right.
So many people
They don't want
fool
to, yeah,
doctors into
mm-hmm,
getting them.
yeah. And doctors are
So,
very hesitant to give any really medication anymore for
yeah.
fear of the patient doing harming themselves, harming somebody, or suing them. So yeah, yeah, man, Eric, I was while all this was going on. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah, I want to know your end of this.
I was. It wasn't surprising, but I was very surprised that they would let you go when you were just stable enough, hoping that you would go home and all their medication and things that they gave you to go home with was going to take care of the situation. And
Now, we should explain that your dad was an emergency room
hmm
doctor,
hmm
the head emergency room
hmm
in Houston, I want to say,
Laredo, Laredo.
Laredo.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know a bit more about medical stuff than the average person.
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, never really talked to dad, until like Mitzi, my
But from
wife had to do
secondhand,
stuff.
just hearing him talk, you have a better understanding
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
average person, is what
yeah,
I want to say.
yeah, yeah. But then, I know that you have to be an advocate because if you don't feel well and they go, no, we're going to let you go, okay, so you're going to let me go and I still feel like this. I still feel, in your case, I still have my leg. I'm still septic. I'm still, all these things. So you're going to let me go. Okay, great, great. Go ahead and let me go. But you have to be able because doctors rely on tests.
Yeah,
And that's one thing that my dad he saw the tests, he read the tests, he knew what the test said, but he listened to the patient. He listened,
yeah.
how do you feel? Well, your test says this, but how do you feel? Where do you hurt? How does this make you feel when I, you know, like do my doctor thing?
Yeah.
And and I don't think and this is what really ticked me off with your situation is the doctors really didn't listen to you. I don't know if you said, "Hey, I'm not feeling too good," because everybody trusts a doctor and they go, "Okay, just take your
Exactly.
medicine. We're going to
Yeah.
send you home and everything will be fine." 2 days later, you're back. A
Yeah.
day and a half later, you're back. Now you've got
Yeah.
the hiccups. Now you've got this. And I was just flabbergasted at the fact that that stuff went on with you and that you were going through that. And I would even ask you, why did they let you go? What
To
is
me,
wrong with
it's
them?
why did Hackensack not do it? NYU did
Big,
nothing but good to me.
well, Hackensack, so it's almost like, and I this is maybe not a thing, maybe a thing, but when one doctor does something, another doctor doesn't want to do it because they don't know what they did and they don't want to be held any responsibility
Yeah,
for that. And that's then known that, with Mitzi. And
yeah,
we can't do it because we didn't do it. And we're like, and even we're like, right, what are you talking about? Go, look, we understand, but we didn't do the procedure. We didn't do this. We didn't do that.
which is
You ha
ridiculous.
well, it's ridiculous in the moment, but when you think about it, the people that actually know what they're doing did what they did at NYU and Hackensack. Hackensack sent you to NYU in the first place.
I mean, the first time there, they should have done more than what they did.
Well, and which is they just get you, and see that's the thing about like dot hospitals. Oh, you feel fine? Let's get you out.
Yeah.
Let's get you
And when
out.
you're
And
in the hospital, you don't want to stay. You're
well,
like, hey, I'm
well,
feeling a
you're
little bit
you're
better. I want to
absolutely
go
right.
home.
And the last thing they say, the very last thing when they wheel you out to your car, they're like, "Hey, if you start feeling worse, come back." Because they
Yeah.
know. They know. And I feel very strongly about this. And it gets me worked up just thinking about it and talking about it because when you do that, it prolongs illness, sickness, the things that are actually
Yeah.
wrong, and it made you even worse
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, let's do that. If they would have at least tried, okay, we don't know what we're doing, but we're gonna contact a better doctor who might know who knows what they're doing.
Now that's the best thing that I could say. That I don't find any fault with. But the one that I do find fault with is they keep you. They like, oh yeah, he's doing good. We give him tests, they run tests. His blood pressure is great. Yeah, oh, it looks like his infection is going down. Let's go ahead and send him down. When the infection is kind of going down, then they send you
Yeah,
home, and then all of a sudden your infections start to go back up again, even
exactly. Yeah.
worse. And
Now,
and I don't have a problem like them referring to you, like referring you out to a bigger place. Thank God that they did, honestly.
well, it was that one doctor who did it. I mean, why don't they at least do this? Okay, now here's my question. Because of the neurofibromatosis, I have Medicure, which
Hmm.
is basically the American Express black card of health insurance.
Yeah.
So they're gonna make, I don't want to sound rude, they're gonna make money off of me, the hospitals. When they give me an MRI, they're making a couple grand. So
Hmm.
for them
Hmm.
to bring in another doctor, or if they would have done this, hey, we're not good at this, but this other hospital in Jersey, they're really good at this. We're going to put you in an ambulance and send you there to
Yeah.
get the help you need.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
But
I don't know, man. I mean, looking back on it now, you're able to thank God you're able to look back on it and talk about it and
yeah,
everything that
yeah.
you went through. Um,
Again, I cried a lot because I suffered,
yeah,
and
of
one
course.
thing I don't know if I think I've told you about this. I have this weird thing where I feel that if I'm happy, something bad has to happen to balance things out. And I
Man.
was like, 3 years ago, I made a movie. So yeah, I hadn't been in a hospital bed in years. So this is
Mm.
life rebalancing itself. And I know that's not true. It's just when
Yeah.
you're having tubes all over you and in a hospital bed,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
mind goes weird places.
Right. Right. Right.
So I
Right.
want to tell you about some of the other stuff that happened when I got home. So they had to send me a nurse to take care of the midline, to change the wound, the band-aid on it and all of that. And
Was she a nurse from NYU?
no, this
Oh,
really good place in Jersey, but
okay.
Larry,
But were they
how
still
can I?
model-esque?
No, no, I'm
Oh,
gonna get to that now.
okay.
Let's put Larry. Oh man, you out-tower her.
Huh?
She was a little person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Zelda
Uh-uh.
Rubinstein.
Oh, really?
Well, no, you see, she was also, uh, we don't talk politics on here, but I
Right.
am. She kind of made Joe Biden look competent. So when she would take care of my arm, it would hurt sometimes, and I don't think she knew what she was doing
Oh,
sometimes.
really?
Like, for one thing, she started talking about President's Day. And they go, so is the 22nd, Washington's birthday? And in the back of my mind, I wanted to go, were you there? And she couldn't remember dates. Now,
Oh,
but she was good at what she did because the midline started not working because those things aren't meant to stay in long. My arm started leaking.
right,
And
right.
she right away was like, no, you need to go to this hospital right now. Call me when you get there. And
Wow.
to her credit, when I called, she talked to the nurses at this other hospital, explained what I needed. Now, that hospital, we were supposed to go fix the midline. We knew it wasn't that big of a deal. So on the way there, we stopped to eat because I hadn't eaten anything yet.
Yeah.
By the time we get to that hospital, we missed the midline team by a few minutes. But
Oh
again,
my
to this
God.
hospital's credit, they understood what was going on. They gave me my IV treatment and told me come back Saturday.
Okay.
We get there Saturday. They took the midline out of my arm and put. Now it was originally in my left arm, which wasn't a problem, but I'm right-handed.
Right, right.
They put it in my right
Now
hand.
that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and it like the way they put it in my left, it wasn't in any of the meaty parts of my body, of my
Mm-hmm.
arm,
Mm-hmm.
but with the right, they put it in one of the meaty parts.
Like a forearm
Yeah,
almost?
like
Oh,
I'm
like on
showing
the,
you is like right here.
oh, like your bicep area. They
Yeah,
put it up there. Did they put it into like inside your bicep or on your bicep?
like right about here, like right here.
Like, oh, like so you it's right on or right under that
Yeah,
muscle.
yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And
Right under
that
the bicep muscle. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that bothered me for a while, but it came out. Then the next day, the one in my leg came out, or a day after, the one in my leg, they took that out. And I thought it was gonna be this big, painful thing, but it happened within seconds. And the hole from the tube, I thought it was gonna be big, but I talked to my doctor today and she had to see my leg and she just goes, why are you still wearing the Band-Aid?" And the reason I am is because where my leg exploded, I still have to pack that wound and keep a Band-Aid on that. And they're so close to each other. One giant Band-Aid covers both.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get the wound care taken care of, I won't have to wear the Band-Aid anymore.
Wow.
So I'm back in business. Now, one of the hard things was with showering with that tube in my leg.
Yeah.
I had to keep one leg out of the shower, and my mom had to help shower me,
Right,
which was
right.
embarrassing. And I'm a two shower a day person.
Yes, you are.
But
Yes,
with
you are.
this,
It's a half a shower. It's like get
I
in and get
could
out.
it was one shower every other day or every
Right.
3 days,
Yeah.
which, man, when I was in the hospital for a month, man, my beard grew in, my hair, which I don't have, grew in, my ear hair was a mountain. So, and again, the models who are part-time nurses
Right.
and no teats. So yeah, life that was,
Very humbling.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the
And
thing is, though, like while they were putting the tube in my leg, it's not a surgery, so you could talk. I was super chatty because talking's what I do for a living.
Right, right, right.
Whether it's the podcast or saying, Larry, pretend this is happening.
What, do you remember what you talked about?
The first time, just small talk. The second time, I talked about how, so, this doctor at Hackensack, they told me my legs are
Did
ticking.
you really
Yeah,
tell him that?
yeah, yeah.
And
And
what
the
they say?
doctor looked at me. The nurses were like, shh. The doctor was like, ugh.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And okay, so let's go back to your first chat with the small talk. Did you go, "Hey, what's up? How long you
Yeah,
been a
yeah,
surgeon?
yeah,
Where you
yeah, yeah,
from? What do you think
yeah,
about today? It's a pretty day. It's a cold day. Is it
yeah, yeah,
snowy?
yeah.
Who,
It was
who's gonna
just
who's gonna
basic.
win the football games?"
I didn't talk about that, but it was just small talk, making jokes.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the TV screen, I could have watched TV while I was doing it,
yeah. And
and it looked exactly like the tablet,
that's
the
hilarious.
home screen. So I was like, is that a giant tablet or a TV screen?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't remember the small talk. I just remember, I did small talk while they were
yeah.
working on me. Now, the way they put the tube in, I was watching, it kind of looked like they were changing the oil on me because that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, man, it
hilarious.
was one. I'm happy it all happened at the start of the year. So
Yeah.
now anything else that happens will be easy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing about the one thing that I tell people all the time about, our podcasts and being able to talk to people that have been through adversity and get to where they want to get to. Obviously, everybody that comes on, we talk about their projects and books and stuff,
Yeah,
but it really hits home when you have somebody, a very good friend like you
thank you.
know, because this is the part when, as you're going through it, man, you're like, I'm going through a bunch of stuff. And then it's afterward, what you do afterward with that and putting ooh, bless you, and putting
Thank
your
you.
life back together, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm slowly doing now.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm touching up the finished script for the next project.
yeah, yeah,
I want to do a short before the year's over, get back into that, which I haven't done in years
yeah.
since The Bride. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago,
Jeez.
maybe five.
Man, 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 man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now is the time to do it. And I don't know. It does it put it into perspective, Eric, about getting things done and
Oh,
doing what you need to
completely,
do.
completely. Yeah, it's like if I'm not doing anything for a day, it's like it was all a waste.
Mm,
It was all a waste. I wasted a day.
yeah,
But again, this was when I still had tubes in me and couldn't do much.
right, 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 right. Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful that we can look back on it and, laugh, especially about, joke some
Yeah.
of them
I
and
mean, being able to laugh now about a doctor telling you your leg's a ticking time bomb.
well, I wouldn't go that far. I
Well,
wouldn't. I
I'm
would.
able to laugh about it
Well,
now.
yeah, yeah. But it really goes to show you've dealt with so many personalities. You've
Yeah.
dealt with so many personalities, adversity, and I mean, your resolve. Did you learn anything about yourself?
That I can go through a lot, and I that's the main thing that I can get through anything right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Just again, the fear that was in me, and I made it through.
yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the big things is being able to look back and realize that I mean, I'm a crier, so I get it. I understand.
Oh,
And
same
feeling,
here. I'm a
yeah,
huge crier.
yeah, yeah. And being able to talk about, I think being able to talk about stuff too does it help?
Oh, majorly, yeah. And now that it's a memory and there's things I don't remember now, which is great. Like I don't remember every single day in there. I don't remember a lot, which also, I was hyped up on a lot of pain medication.
Right. Right, right, right,
Like
right.
you could have been there for if you were to tell me you were there, I would have to go, wait, was Larry there?
Wait, you don't remember me showing up?
See, I have to take your word for it right
Wait,
now.
and 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 you didn't hear me knock when you were in surgery. I go, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Be sure to
Oh,
check
here's
yours
one
out."
thing. Here's one thing that happened. Now, I have Beats, but I had the little earbud kind.
Yeah,
And that was my salvation during a lot of it.
yeah.
I lost the right ear beat. So, but luckily, I had the cash when we came home and I bought regular Beats headphones, not the earbud kind. So, I had to listen. I listened to podcasts and things like that, and I was doing all of it with one earbud in me. So I learned, earbuds aren't cool. Like
Right.
normal headphones are cool.
I have a sneaking suspicion that wherever your Beat headphone is your dentures. And they're sitting there
No,
together
I
going,
lost
"Where
those
is Eric?
before. I
Where is
lost my
Eric?"
dentures before I lost the Beats, while my mom lost the dentures. So you're
Eric.
saying that it's kind of like a Woody and Buzz thing going
Yeah,
on right
yeah,
now?
yeah, 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 yeah. It's oh man, Eric, I tell you, one thing that I really did miss, and really thought about this is like, what's gonna happen with the podcast, and where do we go from here? Because I mean, at one point it was like we really didn't communicate,
I
and which
couldn't
I
is the
understand.
thing.
Yeah,
I
and
wanted to, but I
yeah.
couldn't. I literally couldn't talk.
Well, and it's weird from other people's perspective, and I absolutely understood, but I think the 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 idea of you having to go through this, and it really did, man, it really bothered me that they kept sending you back, and you would go back, and all this back and forth, and it was a very weird time. Like obviously when people know somebody who's going through a bunch of stuff, and particularly hospital stuff, right? It's whatever's happening with you, but it's also, whatever has happened to the people around you. And I can't
Yeah.
imagine what your mom, well, I guess I could, but I
Well,
really can't.
when I
She was
was in
going crazy, I'm
Hackensack,
sure.
because that's not even 20 minutes away from us, she was able to go home
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sleep and
Yeah.
rest. But in NYU, she stayed with me the whole time
Yeah.
on uncomfortable chairs.
Right, right. And anybody that knows a hospital absolutely knows, that I mean, when you're able to go when somebody's in the hospital and you know that they are being taken care of, and to be able to go and just rest, and knowing that, because when you're in a situation with somebody that you love, you're always in this high alert, and you want to stay
Yeah.
alert, and it is a thing. And I'm sure she was a nervous wreck. I'm sure
Oh, she
that put
suffered
you.
too,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
felt bad that she was sleeping on these uncomfortable chairs, but the one who suffered the most was Rogers. Because, we had to
he was
have
home alone. Oh, right.
my relatives would come and feed him. Like my sister Nancy would come
Yeah,
feed him. My uncle Anthony would play with him.
yeah,
One funny thing, when I was in Hackensack, my mom FaceTimed me And Rogers saw me on the FaceTime and licked the screen. And man,
That's
I got dogs are smarter than we give credit for because when
yeah,
I came home, he was on me like a hawk,
yeah,
man. He didn't give me a minute. He
yeah,
was just
yeah,
like trying to take care of me.
yeah, yeah, which is
Now,
amazing.
being who I am, I always try to keep my mind focused, being writing, things like that. And this has always been an interest of mine, but in the hospital, even more. I got really obsessed with the 27 Club.
Now, what's that?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, that's all these famous people, rock musicians who died at the age of
Oh,
27.
right, right, right. Okay. Wait,
And
are you 27?
God no, I wish.
Then you
Yeah, no, I was just listening to podcasts about it, YouTube videos, even when I got home, because I was like, man, I would love to do a movie about the 27 Club, like a person joining it.
Wow.
Now here we're getting off topic. Do you think it's a coincidence that if you don't know who the 20, what the 20, there's a lot of other people, but the main members people talk about are Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, and Amy Winehouse, to name a few, but there's more than that. And the theory is that all of these people made a contract with the devil and that it would end when they turned 27. Because when you
Wow.
look at all of them, it's mysterious. It's either drug overdose, suicide, or mysterious deaths.
Was James Dean wasn't 27, right?
No,
Or
no,
was he?
he's not
Okay.
part of the 27 Club.
That's why his was a car wreck,
Yeah.
a normal thing,
Wait,
ish.
hey, Google, how old was James Dean when he died?
James Dean was 24 years old when he died in
Okay,
1960.
so
Okay,
he's not
24.
he's not
Okay.
part of it.
He
But
he
no,
missed it just by three
well,
years.
no, all of them were extremely successful. If you
Right.
know James Dean, he didn't become
He was just
successful.
starting out, yeah,
Yeah,
when he died.
after he died, his three movies that he did became,
Three. Yeah.
was that all? I know
Yeah. And but
Giant,
he did
Beast of Eden, Rebel
and
Without,
Rebel
well,
Without.
different, I did them in reverse
Yeah.
order.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And obviously, I mean, when you look at stuff like that, we're kind of getting off topic, but when you look at stuff like that, I mean, just to know how what an icon he had become.
Yeah. But again,
Yeah.
this is on topic because even while I'm sick with tubes in me, I was like, man, what kind of story could I tell?
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, Eric, probably some of the best scripts, music was probably written on cocaine,
Drugs?
drugs, LSD, trips. So, I mean, I mean, if you remember some of that stuff, it would be amazing because it would be trippy. It would be like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right?
Man, but no, the thing though about the Laudent, man, I hate talking about this. It felt so good.
That is and it's I wonder if people realize just like you realize that when they, you know, I don't know, become addicted to things. They
I
know and they
mean,
just can't stop.
here's how bad it was. When I had to go to the other hospital to have the midline put back in my arm, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I hope they admit me because my mom will go home.
Real
And while I'm in the
wow.
hospital,
For
I'll
real,
tell them,
Eric?
yeah. And for a few seconds, I was like, I'm going to tell them my pain is at an 11 so I could get the Laudin.
Are you for real?
I wish I was joking.
You
That
thought that?
thought, that thought
Wow.
popped in my head for a couple seconds. And by this
Wow.
time, the hiccups were gone. The
Wow.
pain I would get in my leg was normal pain from having a tube in, it's a form, but it wasn't bad. But I, honest to God, if they would have said, hey, you know what? Instead of having you go home, we'll just have you stay the night, and then we'll get the midline in you right away the next morning. I would have done it.
Wow. That I
Yeah,
mean
and if that
that's
and
a
you
powerful
you know
statement.
me. You know that
Yeah.
I don't really drink.
Right. Not at
I
all.
don't
At
I don't
all.
s- I don't I smoke cigars, but that's
Yeah.
I've never, man, I need a cigar right
Like
now.
Jonesing, yeah. That's
No, but
wow.
if they would have told me to stay the night, I would have asked for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I will no longer look down on people who are addicted to stuff
Yeah.
because I see how easily it could happen to anyone.
Yeah. Wow, Eric,
Yeah.
that's powerful and amazing that it had that pull on you.
Yeah,
That's
man.
wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind. Sorry. Sorry. Just
No,
wow.
but man, that's how it is, man. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean this whole eh, so now this sounds like the behind the music.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everything
now
was
I'm
going
in,
good until boom, the
but
2 month
now
hospital stay.
now the tubes are out of me. I'm
Yeah.
able to wear jeans. And here's the big thing. This is like the blessing in the storm, like, oh, your house was destroyed in a hurricane, but here's a $3 million check because of the
Right,
damages.
right, right.
I went into that hospital at 240 pounds.
Hmm.
I am now 218 pounds.
Wow. Wow. Wow, man. Wow. And
Yeah.
actually we were just talking about this, I think it was last night. But what are you gonna continue to, because you didn't have a whole lot of like obviously sweets or soda or anything.
While I was in the hospital, no.
Yeah. And are you gonna are you going to try and pursue not necessarily
As
healthy lifestyle, but
well, as we speak, for the past 2 nights, I've had as chicken salad for dinner,
wow.
and I am currently having withdrawal syndromes from Coca-Cola
And you say you only have one. How many Cokes did you have a day?
in the hospital.
No, no, on a like before
I
going
would
in.
usually do at least five.
A day?
Yeah.
That is, yeah. And now, but I know that when we had started to work with Kareen, that started to get a little bit better, but then it went back up to five, right?
Yeah. Well, because it's my comfort. That's the one
Right.
thing I would say I'm addicted to
Yeah.
is soda.
Yeah. Yeah. And now,
I mean, you've seen me without it, like when we were making Hillsborough Road, and when I
oh
didn't
yeah.
have soda, I
Yeah.
always say I kind of feel like if you've seen Interview with the Vampire, how Lestat went for years drinking rat's blood, but then as soon as he drank, what's his name? The other guy in Interview with the Vampire, Christian
Who
Slater,
yeah, yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as he bit into him, his
Yeah.
color came back and all of that.
Oh, God, that's hilarious, Eric. Um, so and are you gonna try to stay on this path of like healthy eating and
Eating much better,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Soda, I need to have at least two a day because I'm not joking around. I am
yeah,
pretty weak right now.
yeah, yeah. But is it now? Now since you have lost weight and since you don't drink soda, maybe you need to eat more healthy stuff, right? Because a salad's good. Chicken on a salad is perfect, right? But you
Yeah.
do have to have like little things around, like try to have like healthy snacks. I feel like now we're a healthcare podcast.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
no, I mean, I'm trying to get the good that came out of
yeah,
this.
you've got
Like
to. You've
my
got to.
leg is doing much better. Like I'm
Yeah,
able this is back to the weight thing. I have to get I'm gonna need a better belt. The misquote Jaws because my pants are falling off.
Good.
I
Good.
was up to double X or triple X shirt just for the comfort, triple
Right, right.
X,
Yeah.
but a regular extra large fit me. The something about the unknown t-shirt, which
Yeah.
I couldn't wear anymore,
Yeah.
was fitting me.
Good. Good,
So again,
man.
if you want to lose weight, go septic, end up in the hospital for a month, get a almost get addicted to the Laudin, and cut back on soda, and you could lose a lot of weight.
That sounds like a book in the process. You sound like you're ready to write a book. And
Yeah,
uh,
I don't think the FDA would approve my weight loss method if
right,
I
right.
was to submit it.
Actually,
They'd
you
just be
should,
like,
yeah.
"What? Wait, what is your health plan?" I almost get sick and die.
You go,
I'm
get out of
sorry.
here. Get out of here.
Are you high?
Right.
A little bit.
Oh man, Eric, I tell you, now is the time to kick it back in gear and put
Yeah,
all that energy, that it
into
sounds like you've
stuff.
gained energy, right? You've got a
Right
little
now,
bit of,
because of the no Coca-Cola, I don't have energy right now.
well, the will. Do you
The
have the
will,
will?
yeah, yeah,
Do you have the hope to do it? Do you have the
yeah.
drive to do it?
I mean, I've always wanted to, but now
Yeah,
I have drive for everything. Like,
yeah.
I really want to start getting the next project rolling. I
Right,
really
right,
want to work on a short, something, go back to my roots. I guess it's kind of like when a band, they've done the stadium tours, but now just to find themselves again, they want
right,
to go
right.
back to the clubs.
Yeah, yeah,
And to
yeah,
me,
babe.
that's
Yeah.
what a short would be. Going back to a nightclub and doing a show there to see if I still got it. Because
Hmm.
one thing I've learned is this is over the past few years. Um, I'm not ashamed to put down my talents anymore. Like I know I'm a very good writer. I'm a pretty good director. No, I'm a
Hmm.
good director because of the way I work with people. And now with this, I'm even more confident in myself.
Good. Good. Good.
Yeah,
As you probably should be for a number of different reasons, but one of the most important reasons is not giving up or giving in.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think once you hit like the bottom, which everybody says, "Oh, this is the bottom." And but really, I mean, when you're somewhere and, you know, it
Yeah.
feels like a never-ending cycle or you're stuck. You just have to, man, I don't know. Now you make me think about all kinds of stuff. But that's what it is, man. Your story, I think, in every way is everybody's story because we've always been we always go through things, hard times, and we've been this, we've been that. And I mean it's like acting, right?
Yeah.
It's like okay, show me an emotion, show me crying.
Yeah.
You can do a happy cry or sad cry, hard cry. It's just it's a different level of emotion, but it's still an emotion. And it's,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
everybody goes through stuff and I am very, very happy and glad that that I'm able to sit and talk to you about this
Thank you, man. Thank you.
because I don't this is not really about me, but in you being in my life and vice versa, it is because
Yeah.
I felt what you were going through in a
Thank
way,
you, man. Thank you.
sad, angry, and I think it's important for people to do that and feel things for their friends and their
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah.
so thank you for letting me talk it out.
Thanks, Larry. And you know what? We've been going a while, and I think, it's time to close the episode. Everybody,
Yeah.
remember, I'm going to change it a little bit. Be excellent to each other and to yourself.